Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. I want to talk to the censors first. I want to assure you at the New Health Conversation, I know I've repeated this before, we stay within the community guidelines because we only quote from real peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. So everything is in the public domain. Everybody can see it. We don't make up any things. We're not making any claims. We're simply reporting on the studies from around the world. We've also written 4 best-selling books of some of the top medical doctors in the world. We've appeared on 20 times on PBS television. We've been interviewed on the biggest TV shows in America and did over 1,500 live lectures around the world. So everything that we're presenting is original material. Nothing is copied. There's no copyright infringements because we've been doing research now for 23 years. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Well, wow, we got some people already. So Marcella, Oliver Fish, Radoti, Biga, Tanisa, Christina. So let's focus on that for just a moment. I'm going to hold up, I've got the physical actual magazine in my hand. It actually came out last Friday. I coach these 2 women. I know the 2 women on the cover of this. This is the #1 women's magazine in the world. Now, the reason I tell you that and the reason it's important, you have to understand that what we're going to talk about today, this protocol that they did, you don't get on the cover of Women's World magazine if you don't have something that's completely legitimate. Now, how did they get on top, got in here? Forget the 2 women. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking why did the magazine feature this? Because it's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, which I actually have right here. The medical studies are right here. You also notice that right above the magazine cover is the New Health Conversation. That's the free medical website. Any of you can go to at any point in time. If you go to that website, we won't contact you. And that may seem strange, but we're so busy coaching people. And secondly, we don't want you to feel like we're trying to convince you or sell you. We're educating you. If nothing else, we want to make you aware. And why you're going to find out with all the medical evidence we'll present to you today that counting calories is dead. I'll prove it to you one more way. I'd love anybody on here right now, give me the definition of a calorie. You're all counting calories, and I would say with all due respect, 99% of you have no idea what a calorie even is. You're counting them because someone told you to do that. These two women, okay, the daughter in blue, she lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, 80 years old, lost 91 pounds in 9 months. They've both kept it off now for more than 2 years. There's a huge article inside the magazine, if any of you want to get it. It's on the newsstand right now. It's the June 9th issue, and it's unbelievable. Look at this, everyone. 2 full pages explaining this. All the headlines like new protein miracle diet. That's from the magazine. That's not from us. So they had the opportunity to look at the medical proof and decided to make this a major addition. With summer coming, everybody obviously wants to, well, this is going to have legs long beyond that. So let's talk about the most important thing. What did they do? How did they do it? Okay. So Candace, Denise, Bruce, Linda, Relax, Leah, Christina, Holly the realtor. Holly the realtor. I think you were on maybe yesterday or something. I don't know. I have a lot of realtors. We've got people. We also have people all over the world. We just had people today that wanted to get started in Germany, Paris, France. I just got off the phone. I just got off a live about an hour ago. We had people from all over the world with different time zones. It's now 8 o'clock in the morning in Sydney and I think in Melbourne it's let's see, Sydney it's 8, and I think in Melbourne it's 7. So we'll probably have some people from international. Now look, I want to clarify something. I get accused of coming on here and taking too long before they say, get to the point. Well, let me explain something to you. This, what we're going to talk about now, took 40 years of research, 100 studies, thousands of people to come up with it. I'll go as fast as I can, I promise. But I want you to understand, why is this going to make every diet you've ever been on completely obsolete? If you listen to this podcast, and more importantly, if you go to that website, there's an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the entire world. He's the one, he and his team invented this. And they don't have any products, they don't sell anything. But on the website, he does a real long interview about the fact they will never recommend to any of their patients ever again any form of traditional diet. Those are his words, not mine. And this is the top rank. He's ranked the #1 for more than 40 years. To give you an idea of what you do when you're a researcher, it's your research. How many times do other researchers around the world cite your work, your discoveries? He's been cited 9,400 times. That's who invented this. See, people want to get mad at me. They want to argue with me. You don't know what you're talking about. It's calories in, calories out. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not thermodynamics. It's all nonsense. And evidenced by the fact you go to the mall today. Look at America. 80% of America's overweight. 80% of America's overweight, 50% are obese, 50% are pre-diabetic. Does that sound like to any of you that diets are working? Now, so the two women that are here who I coach, these two women right here, okay, they did the protocol. They were not part of the medical study. So I want to switch just for a moment here and show you actual people in the medical studies, the actual patients that went through this, okay? I know it's going to shock you at first when you see the first one. She lost 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. No one was allowed to exercise. They actually wore Fitbits proving they weren't exercising. Look at day one. Look at her stomach area. We're going to talk about that. Why? And day 30, by the way, this is no exercise, no sit-ups, no crunches, no saunas, no anything. They had to wear these Fitbits to prove they weren't dieting. Weren't working out. I'd love for anybody to comment. What do you think about that? Also, can we get some likes, some taps on the screen? I'm probably only going to go maybe about 30 minutes today. This is my third one of the day, and it's my voice. Will it hold up for as long as I can do it? So Bat, Ori, let's see, who else joined us today? Let's see, user 489, user 676, Lisa joined, Barbara joined, Makika, I think it is. Bat, Ori joined, user 536, Gas Man Steve. I think you were on also, Steve, the other day. Barbara, Shands, joined from your post. Chin. Okay, so we got a lot of people already. If we can just get some taps on the screen. So let's go through it. Let's first talk about why diets fail. Now, again, I'd love for anybody to give me the definition of a calorie before I tell you what it is. But I will tell you this. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. The human body doesn't count calories. Why you're counting calories, it's the most baffling thing in the world now that we have this new research. And most of you are going to go back to paleo, keto, Mediterranean. You're not going to take advantage of the fact we set up a free medical website for you to see the medical proof. Here's why your diets don't work. I don't care what you think. They will not work long term for this reason. Our body is set up not on calories. It has no idea what a calorie is. It only is set up on a minimum amount of nutrition, a very fine line where we have enough nutrition to run all our organs, the brain, the heart, the kidney, the liver, etc. When you go on a diet, think about it. What are you really doing? You're reducing the quantity of food you're consuming, which means what? You're reducing the amount of nutrition. When your brain senses there's not enough nutrition to run all the organs, it panics, goes in starvation mode, and immediately stops accessing the fuel inside your fat cells and switches over instead to your muscles. It's one of the most unhealthy things you could ever have happen to you, but every diet is called catabolic metabolism. In layman's terms, it means your body is literally eating your organs for fuel, starting with your muscles. As the body begins to use more and more of your muscle for fuel, it has no choice. It slows down your metabolism. So that's the first thing that makes you unbelievably unhealthy. That's why you plateau in these diets. That's why you come off the diets and you get everything back. Who's telling you this? Who's telling you the truth? The real news here, right? Well, the other problem is when you lose the muscle, the brain also slows down your own immune system. You're making your cells unhealthy by doing these diets, calories in, calories out. None of it's my opinion, by the way. Everything, we're the researchers of the research. Think of us like we're bringing in the news. Our job is to go out and see the research and bring it. We didn't do the research, but we're bringing it to you for free. Now, so the researchers said we can't do that anymore. They'd had 40 years of experience, organic food, whole food. I mean, keto, paleo, every diet you can imagine. And they found 2/3 of everyone on every diet every year over 40 years gained back more weight than they lost. We'll show you more medical proof behind that in just a moment. So what did they do? They said, we need to figure out a new way. Can we find foods with high levels of nutrition and low quantities of food from a bulk standpoint of view, right? So they developed for her and everybody else a food list, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her calorie amounts, they gave her serving sizes. Now, this was developed it's not somebody giving you a recipe. You can see that on they're trying to give you recipes to tell you. They never mention the fact what's in the food, the nutritional value. They never talk about that. So the researchers set up only 30% of what you would purchase. You buy food. There's no products here. There's no such thing as a product with this. It's food. So 30% of the food from your grocery store. The other 70% comes from other food groups who the researchers they have no products, they don't have a company. We don't sell you anything. But those researchers that these other researchers found had spent 20 years going around the world to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. Does everybody understand it now? So the foods that they were going to give to people in the studies, 30% came from your grocery store. You'd get a grocery list from our coaches. By the way, we coach you for free. No gimmicks, no tricks. The coaching's 100% free. You don't buy anything from us. You're buying either from your grocery store, 30% of what you're going to consume, or 70% from these exotic foods around the world. Okay, so now you have the ingredients. Now what? Okay, now they created, let's call it the recipe. 2 completely new revolutionary ways of eating based on these new food groupings. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. Yep. Starting with these exotic foods around the world, that was breakfast. That's meal number 1. No food from the grocery store. Meal number 2, lunch from the grocery store list. Meal number 3, dinner from the grocery list. And a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods. You got it? So 5 days a week, you'd be eating 4 meals a day. That's called protein pacing. 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, they let her eat 8 times a day. What? Yeah, 8 times a day. Because she was ingesting very small by bulk or by volume food, but huge amounts of nutrients. These are not supplements, by the way. These are nutrients that come from all over the world. And look at the results. 22 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. She's not the only one. I'm going to show you some other ones here in just a moment. Shands, yeah, the new health conversation with no spaces, by the way. So let's see, any expenditure of energy. I'm not quite sure what you're, and expender of energy. Candace, no one is allowed to exercise. Please understand. Oh, we're doing about calories? Okay, hold on just a second. I see where you're all coming from. Let me just see if I can scroll up and see. So let's see, an expender of energy, calorie. No, sorry, Candace, that's not the definition of a calorie. Dr. Christopher is joining us. Hi, Dr. Christopher. I know you've been on before. The new health conference. Wow, I've struggled with my weight all my life. Shands. So Shands, there's no spaces though. It's not as you have it there. It's no spaces. It's the new health conversation. Let me show you all that real quickly. Do you see it there, Shands, and everybody else? And hi, Dr. Christopher. Did you get a chance, Dr. Christopher, to go to the website and look at all the medical proof that's there? I'm just curious. I'm assuming you came back. You must have liked what you saw, or you wouldn't be back. But Shands and everybody else, does everybody see it above their name? The New Health Conversation. That's the free medical website for all of you to go to. Okay. So, by the way, I'm not sure, Dr. Shands, if I couldn't talk about it until it came out. But last Friday, this came out on the cover of Women's World, the #1 women's magazine in the world, about this protocol. You can see the headline, Over 50 Protein Miracle. And then read the caption that they wrote. Powerful new eating pattern can take weight off faster than anything else you've tried. Now, why is this such a huge deal? Because it's instant credibility, number one. Why did this protocol catch the editor's attention? Because this is a news story. It caught it because there are 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies backing up everything we're talking about and what those 2 women did. By the way, those 2 women, I did coach them. I do know them. It's an amazing, amazing story about what happened to them. And everybody, here's the 2 full-page article. 2 full pages. New protein miracle. Those are the headlines from the magazine, not from us. So you combine it. Well, the thing that got the article was these 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies that I couldn't talk about the magazine until it hit the newsstand. And I had nothing to do with it other than I did. These are my friends. I coached these 2 people. Look, everybody, the daughter's 57 years old. She lost 50 pounds in 90 days. The mom, 80 years old, 91 pounds in 9 months, and they both kept it off for 2 years. Has anyone ever seen anything like this? You can buy it June 9th. It's on the newsstand now if you want to. But that's instant credibility. So let's see, encourage more viewers. Yeah, can we get some taps on that screen? Shands gave me a heart. Thank you, Shands. Okay, let's take a look at some more of the people in here. I showed you all Kristen where she lost 21.2 pounds in 30 days and 38 inches, right? Is that not amazing, Shans? And Dr. Christopher, I think it's the same Dr. Christopher. You're saying hello to me. Were you on like a week ago? Can you give me a yes? And did you get a chance to go to the website? I'm just really curious because I'd love to hear your feedback about what you saw, because obviously there's nothing to buy there. The only thing there is the medical proof, right? Okay, now let's take a look at another woman, Julie, 35 pounds in 37 days. I want you all to take a look at that. Do you think it's the same woman, or do you think we photoshopped it, or AI, or we changed it up? And what you all have to understand is all this is backed by these 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies proving that it's safe, it's effective, and everything I'm sharing with you comes from these peer-reviewed human trial studies. You know, I get a lot of people on here and they want to argue with me and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. It's just, I have to just mute them. I mean, it's just, I can't, it ruins it for the rest of you, right? Now, let's take a look at this next before and after is the daughter of a friend of mine. Where do you see this, everyone? How about 60 pounds in 3 months, everybody? 60. Dr. Christopher, what do you think about that? Is it the same woman? All of you. I want anybody to put in the comment, is that the same woman? Or are we lying to you? Did we Photoshop it? Did we AI it? What do you think? Please, everybody, make a comment. And we're at 606 likes. Let's keep tapping on that screen. Let's get up to 1,000. Last one I did, I had, I think, 14 or 15,000 on an earlier podcast I did today. So they must have liked my material. This one's going to be shorter because of my voice. So I'm going to go maybe another 15 or 20 minutes. But what does everybody think about that? It doesn't look like it, Rita. I know, but it's the same person, Rita. I promise. It's the daughter of a friend of mine. I'm not going to Photoshop my friend's daughter. We don't need to. We don't have to make up anything because, and again, everybody, look at this, everyone. How about Curtis? 40.8 pounds, 52 inches in 30 days. And that's not the big part of his story. Look at his medical work. Look at his A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides, 242 to 124. How did she do it? I'm going to explain it to you in just a moment, okay? I believe it is, but I'm wondering about loose skin. Well, hold on. Where's the loose skin? Look at her arms. Look at her face. Look at her body. Where's the loose skin? If you go to the website, which All Things and Candace, all of you, I would highly recommend you go there, and here's why. You're going to see people in the last 100 pounds, no loose skin. This is not a diet. It's not about counting calories. So let me get on with it, because otherwise people get impatient with me. Come on, tell us what it is. Tell us what it is. Well, let's go back to page 1. And the reason I want you all to see that, you see in blue above the magazine cover, the New Health Conversation. That's a free medical website you all can go to. There's nothing to buy there. We will not contact you if you go there. But if you like what you see, you can see right above in the blue, free coaching to ensure your success. The coaching is 100% free. They'll show you exactly. They'll coach you the whole time. So let's talk about what they did. How did they do it? Okay. So let's go back to Kristen for a moment. How did she lose 5 pounds a week, 38 inches, and she's kept it off for 8 years? So here's how it works, All Things and everybody else. Oh, Brandon Hall. Sorry, Brandon Hall. Do you see it right there, Brandon? Give me a yes. The New Health Conversation. Do you see it, Brandon Hall Sr.? Yes? I'm not going to switch it. I'm not going to switch it. I'll leave it on. I'll leave it up there just so you can see it. Brandon Hall and everybody else. Okay, great. Now, but let's go back to Kristen, if I may, everybody. This was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world, rated the #1 people for 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people analyzing every diet out there, and they came to one conclusion. No diet they've ever studied, two-thirds of the people gained more than weight than they lost. The fallacy of diets is really pretty simple. Your body has, well, again, I'm still waiting for someone to give me the definition of a calorie, and so far, one person, I'm applauding you for giving it a stab. But isn't it ironic that all of you are counting calories and you don't even know what a calorie is? But that's how we do things. We believe these influences that are giving you opinions with no facts. We're giving you the facts. So what the researchers did, they said, here's why diets can't work. Your body runs on a minimum amount of nutrition, not a minimum of calories. Hopefully everybody gets that. When you go on a diet, what are you doing? You're reducing the quantity of food you're consuming on all these diets. But at the same time, when you lower the amount of food you're consuming, what else you're lowering? Nutrition. When your brain figures out that there's not enough nutrition to run the brain, the heart, the kidney, the liver, it goes into panic mode, stops you from accessing the fuel stored in your fat cells, because that's your emergency store. It immediately switches over and starts to burn your muscles for fuel, doing two of the most unhealthy things to you could do. One, yes, it slows down your metabolism. That's why you lose weight initially on these diets, then it slows, then it stops, then you plateau, then you come off the diet, you gain everything back. You know that's what the yo-yo effect, you all know that's happening. But has anyone ever told you why that occurs? Because you lost lean muscle mass. But not only did you slow down your metabolism, you also slowed down your own immune system. You're making yourself unhealthy by being on these diets by calories in, calories out, total rubbish. So the researchers did this. They said, wait a minute. We are going to change everything. We're going to go find foods that have larger amounts of nutrition and lesser quantities of food. So they put together a food list for her. Only 30% of what she consumed in a month came from the list that you would take to the grocery store. It has proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of giving you calorie counts, they're giving you serving sizes. Got it? So that's 30% of the, what about the other 70%? The other 70% of the food came from other researchers who'd spent 20 years going around the world to Russia, Mongolia, to Tibet, to South America, New Zealand. They physically went there to find these food groups, in some cases where people were eating that were living to be 100 years and older and not getting sick. So the researchers knew this. Now the researchers don't, the ones who invented this, they don't have any products. They don't sell anything. They're scientists. We don't sell you anything. So now 70% of the food you're going to get from these exotic locations. All right, so now you have the foods. But what you don't have is the recipe. What did they do on a daily basis? So 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started meal number 1, these exotic foods around the world. Meal number 2, lunch from the grocery store list. No food from these exotic foods. Number 3 day was dinner from these exotic food. From the grocery list. And a 4th meal after dinner, these exotic foods. So 5 days a week, you'd be having 4 meals a day. Everybody got that? 2 days a week, now this will spin most of you out of control. 2 days a week, you did what's called intermittent, brand new concept, intermittent nutritional fasting. Not water fasting, not time restricted eating. You're literally fasting with nutrition. Well, how does that work? So for 2 days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world, but this time they let her eat 8 times a day. Calories intervention. No, Matthias, sorry. Perfect. Awake got it right. Look, everybody, applaud Awake. Wonderful. The energy required to raise 1 gram of water, 1 degree Celsius in a calorie, an arbitrary quantity. There you go. Perfect. Super. There's your. But how many of you knew what a calorie was? Who knew that? Okay, let me finish on this part. So, the key here is maintenance. The key here is to get the weight off you as quickly and safely as possible, and then teach how to, look, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. You have to understand what she outlined for us there. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. It's a measurement. Like she's perfect. Awake 14.4. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's male or female. So don't hold that against me, okay? But look at some of these other stories here, everyone, also. Look at 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at the change in her body type. Is it the same woman? Do you think we made it up? No, we didn't. Because the next one you'll think we made up. This is the daughter of a friend of mine, April, 60 pounds in 3 months. 60! Where's the loose skin? There isn't any. That's what you were saying. Someone who's asked me, Candace in New Jersey, I believe it's, but wondering about the loose skin. You can see no loose skin. And Candace, if you go to the website, you'll see people that lost 100 pounds with absolutely no. So Matthias, thanks for your guess. You did better than most people. Most people wouldn't even take the time to make a guess. But Awake 144K, that is, you're now the 4th person awake in a year to get the true definition of a calorie. That's just remarkable. I made an electrical. Oh, I'm a male electrical engineer, and we learned that in thermodynamics class. Okay, great. You understand it's pretty rare. Now, Awake, does it stun you that we continue to count calories and the human body has no idea what a calorie is? And by the way, just so you know this, thermodynamics does not apply to weight loss because, as you know, thermodynamics is in a closed loop system where you're maintaining the energy. The body is an open system. It doesn't apply thermodynamics to calories in, calories out. I get these arguments all the time, but I'm glad I've got an electrical engineer that actually knows the lingo. So thank you very, very much. And look at this, everyone. That's an older gentleman, 40.8 pounds, 52.5 inches in 30 days. It's not photoshopped. It's the same man. Look at his stomach. Look at his stomach, everybody. Look at that. But look at his blood work. His A1C from 8.4 to 6.4. Triglycerides from 242 to 124. That's 30 days, not 30 weeks. 40 pounds. I mean, what can we say about that? Now, I'm going to show you, you'll like this, my male electrical engineer friend now. I'm going to show them the medical proof why counting calories doesn't work, can't work. It's never worked, okay? I'm going to read that first study. Let's see, I just have to find it amongst all my studies. Okay, first study I'm going to read to you, the title, Why You Shouldn't Count Calories. Listen to this, everyone. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. What's even worse, 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. Counting calories increases chronic psychological stress and cortisol production, two factors that are known to cause weight gain. Okay, hold that. That's just one. Saying counting calories is ludicrous, right? Okay, let's go to Harvard Medical School. Title, Stop Counting Calories. They went on to say the idea of a calorie in, calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, obsolete, it's just totally wrong, says Fatima Stanford, obesity specialist, Harvard Medical School. Drop the calories notion, Stanford said. It's time to concentrate on what's in the calorie or in the food, not how much food you're consuming. It has nothing to do with calories at all. Now, that's what these researchers did, and they have nothing to do with Harvard Medical School. Let's go to another big study here. This one called The Science Behind Why Diets Don't Work. Listen, everyone, nothing I'm sharing with you is my opinion. Everything I'm sharing with you is based on medical studies, okay? We don't make claims, all right? So they said, our researchers reviewed more than 30 long-term studies of calories in, calories out diets, and they said that going on a diet actually causes weight gain. The more diets someone has tried, the more they weigh. So not only does dieting not work for long-term weight loss, but it's also associated with increased risk of binge eating, eating disorders, and long-term weight gain. Now, this is the one that really should push you all over the top. This is from Medicare. It just came out. Medicare, they're trying to lower healthcare costs. The title of the study, I'm reading from the study. Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. Our researchers at Medicare reviewed studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted diets to assess whether these diets are an effective treatment for obesity. Our researchers found that 2/3 of dieters regain more weight than they lost on any of these diets. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. This is Medicare telling you whatever diet you're on right now, it's a complete bust. And we just had our engineer friend give us the definition of a calorie, which none of you knew about. Now, let's go one step farther. Let's read the medical proof about why counting calories doesn't work. This is from not my opinion, this is from the researchers. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores that the body adjusts its control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while the calories in, calories out formula can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained and more. Did you hear that, everybody? You're now on a diet to gain weight. That's what you're going to do. 2/3 of you anyway are going to weigh more than when you started. Why are you doing that? Why are you counting calories when you don't even know what a calorie is? Thanks to our engineering friend, we now got the true definition of a calorie, which is great. Now, let me read a couple more damaging things about calorie counting. Calorie counting is a relic, a simplistic dogma that ignores the body's sophisticated survival mechanism because it battles our biology, hormonal signals that prioritize nutrient quality, metabolic adaptation, conserving energy, and psychological needs for intuitive eating. Every diet rooted in calorie restriction is doomed to collide with these realities. Every study is saying Not giving you an opinion. See, people on TikTok, they want to argue with me and tell me I don't know what I'm doing. So I was just on with someone telling me, well, the only way to detox the body is through the liver and fiber or whatever. Well, you missed it by about a mile. We now have almost 40% of you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Our livers are completely overtaken by chemicals. And I might know a little about this. I discovered the medical syndrome. You can see it here in my hand that I have and you have and everybody has. It's called TDOS. T for toxicity, D for nutrition deficiency, O for being overweight, S is for stress. It's a registered trademark U.S. Patent Office. What it means is we now know that we're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals. And as they enter our body, the body takes the chemical, once the liver can't deal with it anymore, and stuffs them in our fat cells. If you look at day one of Curtis here, look at his stomach. And then look 30 days later. That's the swelling, they call it a beer belly. It's actually a toxic belly, because most of these chemicals are stored in what's called in the visceral fat. That's the fat around your organs. And you also can look at Kristen, look at her waist to a much lesser extent, but look at day one and then look at day 30. The biggest reason to do this is to assist your body in detoxification. See, these people tell, I'm going on a detox. And then I ask them, well, where's your peer-reviewed human trial studies? Where's the blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis? Well, they don't have any. So it's all marketing hype. Oh, this person today was telling me, oh, it's well established that high fiber in your liver. It's like, what? Where's your peer-reviewed human trial studies? See, unless they have those, run from it. It's not real. I mean, I gotta fess up, for 22 of my 23 years, these medical studies weren't out. They weren't published yet. So I was no different than anybody else. I had anecdotal evidence. That was it. But now, with these 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, it's irrefutable medical evidence. We have medical doctors, we got RNs, we got people left and right coming out of the woodwork doing this. Crazy part is I learned that definition. Wow! In 1985. Wow, you were so far ahead of the power curve. So male, I don't know what to call you. I'm just gonna call you awake. I guess that's okay. What are you enjoying? Do you understand? Well, let me explain to you. Do you think I explained enough to understand why this is so unbelievable and why it's changing? It has nothing to do with counting calories. It's all about nutritional density. Does that make sense to you? So what do you typically eat? I eat, well, they developed a food list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits, okay? I would say myself, in general, I eat a lot of chicken. And make sure it's antibiotic free and hormone growth free and stuff like that. I eat grass-fed beef that's not just grass-fed but already finished. There's two categories: grass-fed and then finished is a whole different category. Look, I lost, for all of you, just so you know, okay, my name is Peter Greenlaw. I've been a nutritional researcher for 23 years. I've written 4 best-selling books, which I have right here in my hand. I appeared 20 times on PBS. I've done over 1,500 live lectures around the world in hospitals, universities, towns. They even flew me to China. I'm not telling you to impress you, but I want to tell you, I've been pursuing this for 23 years. And for 22 of those years, we didn't have any medical proof. No doctor. The medical world didn't give a damn. There was zero. They didn't want anything to do with it. If anything, they said when they saw something like this, oh my God, that's unhealthy to lose that much weight that fast. Do you eat eggs? If they're eggs, they're free-range eggs. Yeah, I eat some cheese every once in a while, as long as it's organic. I mean, everything I do is organic, although organic, if you think you're eating organic to have this huge boost in nutrition, there are 200 studies, which we wrote about actually in one of my first book, was called Why Diets Are Failing Us. It was a big bestseller in 2010. And we just really questioned the whole calorie thing back then and said, why are people counting calories? The human body has no idea what a calorie is. So but you got to understand, T. Cozy, that this took, is that right? T.L. Cozy. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize in advance, okay? But what I wanted to explain to you, this protocol and Awake and everybody, this took 40 years of research. 40 years to figure out that the main reason why we're so sick is not because we don't have enough calories, because we don't have enough nutrition. So when you go on a diet and reduce the amount of food you're consuming, you're reducing nutrition, which triggers starvation in the brain, shuts down your ability to access fuel from your fat cells, and turns to your muscles for fuel, slowing down your immune system. That's why you plateau on these diets. But worse than that, it slows down your metabolism and your immune system. Two of the most unhealthy things you could ever do to yourself long term. Is this making sense to everybody? Put some yeses in there. So yes, thank you. Good. That makes sense. So who else would like to ask me a question? Because I'm going to end in about 10 minutes. So let me go over one more time for everybody so they understand what did she do to lose that much weight that fast and keep it off for 8 years. So the researchers decided that what they had done for 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people, wasn't working as far as diets went. And they said the reason for that was when every time they put people on a diet, even if it was organic, they were reducing, at the end of the day, they were actually reducing not the food, but the nutrition in the food, and it triggered starvation mode in the body. So they said, we need to find a new way. We need to find foods that they'll find that have large amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of quantity. And that's why they gave people serving sizes. So 30% of the food you would buy, you'd go to the grocery store, it would be proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. But instead of calorie counting, you'd have a serving sizes, like saying protein, 4 to 6 ounces, let's say, of grass-fed beef, would be an example, or like a third of a cup, maybe of cauliflower, or whatever. You go through the whole thing. Your coaches will go over that with you and give you, actually, here's what the researchers did. They created for all of you, and my engineer friend will love this. This is a step-by-step. The yellows there are all daily videos from the researchers explaining to you why it works, why it's safe, etc. What's cool is these researchers, they don't have any products, they don't sell anything, they don't profit from any of this. Well, 30% of the stores of food from the grocery store, the other 70% are from other researchers. Not these. These researchers don't receive a penny of compensation if you buy the foods from these other researchers around the world. But what's their motivation? Well, they spent 40 years and they've cracked the code on obesity, and they're getting the credit in the entire world for cracking the code on obesity and overweight and health. Think how huge that is for them. Oh, so what do we do? Okay, yes, makes sense. How often do you eat each day? How many times a day? On a normal day, I eat 4 times a day, just like they do. So give me, Jimmy, let me explain to you what she did to do that. So first, Jimmy, you got to understand that counting calories it doesn't work. It's never worked. There's not one study proven it ever works long term, because the human body has no idea what a calorie is. So let me give you the simple version. When you eat food, the only reason we eat it, I know it tastes good, but that's not the reason. It's for the nutrition that runs all our organs, our brain, our heart, our kidney, and liver. When you go on a diet, think about it. You're lowering the amount of food you're consuming, so you're lowering the amount of nutrition. The researchers who created this created food lists based on the amount of nutrition in the food, not the quantity. So 30% of what she consumed, she got a list of proteins, fats, carbs, fruits, and vegetables. Hopefully that makes sense to you. But instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her serving sizes, okay? Then the other 70% of the food that you would buy comes from these other researchers, not the ones who created this, because they don't have any products and they don't have a company. They're scientists. These other researchers had gone around the world for 20 years. They'd gone to Russia, Mongolia, Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, to find these foods with huge amounts of nutrition but small quantities, okay? So now they had the ingredients, 30% from the grocery store, 70% from around the world, and then they created 2 new ways of consuming food based on these new parameters with these big amounts of nutrition. So 5 days a week, she and you would have 4 meals a day. You'd start with these exotic foods from around the world. That would be your breakfast, meal 1. Meal 2, lunch from the grocery list, nothing from the exotic foods. Third meal from dinner from the grocery store, and a fourth meal after dinner from these exotic foods. You got that? So 5 days a week, you'd be having 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these nutrients from around the world, and they let her eat 8 times a day. She was eating every hour and a half. And look at the results. Now, the key to this, she really did lose 21 pounds and 38 inches in 30 days. But the key to this whole thing is maintenance. That's why it's called R2M, race to maintenance. What does that mean? That means once you get to your goal, then the coaches show you how to maintain it for the rest of your life. How simple is maintenance? See, that's what I do every day. My breakfast every day is one of these exotic foods from around the world. Then I have a normal lunch and a normal dinner, and then I have another meal after dinner at night. Although you could also, a lot of days, maybe I'll just have an exotic meal in the morning and 2 meals and not another meal at night. because now I've been doing it for 23 years. I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. So Bananas Kitchen, bedtime in the UK. How do we get the plan? Okay, here you go, bedtime in the... The wrong thing. Okay, so can you see there, bananas? You see right above the magazine article, the new health conversation? Please give me a yes that you see that, bananas, right? Yeah, she kept muscle, not fat. That's right, Teal Cozy. So bananas, do you see that? Right there, the new, okay. That's the website where you would go to. All the medical proof is there, all of it. Go there, look at the medical proof. If you like what you see, and you see right above free coaching, you then scroll down and you get a free coach. And that coach will give you, they'll get you the food list, they'll show you everything to do. And we definitely are in the UK. We had some people in Germany sign up today, in the Netherlands, I mean, all through the EU. So it's definitely available, right? So again, for all of you, because I do have to go now, the New Health Conversation, it's a free medical website. Go there, and we won't contact you if you go there. So I want you to understand that, bananas. We're not going to go there if you want us, I'm sorry, if you think we're going to call you, we're not. But if you do like what you see, then you can sign up for free coach, and we communicate with you in the UK through WhatsApp or on Zoom, just to let you know. We're also, we got people in Australia and Melbourne, all over the world now. People are wanting to do this, all right? So again, for all, right, everyone, one last time, you all understand that's the website you want to go to, the New Health Conversation. Got it? When you go there, we won't contact you, but you can scroll down and get a free coach, and they'll go through everything with you. So I want to say, thanks for being here, everybody. I hope you all will go to that website. It's really, I'm from Shen's from New Zealand. Oh my gosh. Part of this comes from New Zealand. Part of the super nutrients come from New Zealand. Well, okay, El Birch, hopefully, again, El Birch, go to that website, the New Health Conversation. You'll get to see everything there. And if you like what you see, you get a free coach. They'll explain everything else that I didn't have time because I'm running out of time right now, okay? Everybody, have a great night, evening, afternoon, tomorrow in New Zealand, okay? From Ohio, Teal Cozy. Wonderful. I'm definitely having a look. Great. All right, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.